Now, I want to take, remember when I talked early on last lecture, I talked about two different kinds of economics. So I talked about theoretical economics and empirical economics. I want to take a minute. What we've been doing so far on this course is purely theoretical, talking about models of how the economy works. I want to take a minute to dive into an empirical exercise, which is to talk about how gas price ceilings can teach us what people's time is worth. That's kind of an abstract question, what your time is worth. Okay? But it turns out to be a fundamental question for the main thing that economists do in the real world, which is cost-benefit analysis. What most economists in the world, not academic economists, but real-world economists, spend most of their time doing is what's called cost-benefit analysis. It's understanding the trade-off when you make a decision between the cost and the benefits. And a major place this applies is in physical infrastructure, like building roads and bridges and subways and things like that. Okay, so for example, the state of California just had a major vote on a high-speed train. Okay, now to evaluate the costs and benefits of that, the costs are you got to build the high-speed train, it's all those costs. The benefits are people save a lot of time getting from San Francisco to LA, I think. People save a lot of time. Well, how do you value that? What's that worth? I mean, you know what it costs to build the train, but the savings is more amorphous. It's people's time. So this moves from the level of philosophical to the realm of the very relevant, which is if you're going to decide whether it's a good idea to build this train, you got to figure out what people's time is worth. Well, that turns out to be pretty hard. Okay? However, what economists are very good at is thinking about clever ways that we can figure out what people's time is worth. So one way is you can ask people. We think that's a stupid way to do it, because we think people don't know and they lie. Okay? So we think if you ask people, you get crazy answers, because if I ask you what your time's worth, it's a hard thing to answer. Economists believe don't ask people questions. They believe let their actions reveal what their time's worth. So let's not believe what people say. Let's believe what people do. So how can you let people's actions reveal? Well, it turns out gas price ceilings provide an excellent way to do that. And this is a study that was done of gas price ceilings in California back in the early 70s. Okay? It turns out that when people wait online, okay, they are essentially telling us how they value their time. If they value their time a lot, then they're not going to be willing to wait online to save money on gas. If they don't value the time much, then they're going to be willing to wait online to save money on gas. So basically, think about the decision to wait online. The benefit is you get cheaper gas. The cost is your time. So we can use that to understand what people's time is worth. So what this study did, was it compared two types of gas stations. It turned out the gas price ceiling the government put into effect only applied to national chains, like Chevron was a big gas seller back then. But local mom and pop gas stations did not have the gas price ceiling. So consumers effectively had a choice. You can go to Chevron, pay the lower price and wait online, or go to Joe's Gas, pay a higher price and not wait online. So people could actually tell us through their choice what their time is worth, right? If you went to Chevron, you were clearly telling us you were willing to give up time to get a lower price. If you went to Joe's, you weren't. And therefore, the difference in the price can tell us people's time is worth. So just to put numbers on it, okay? For example, this study found people were willing to wait 15 minutes longer at Chevron than Joe's Gas. They're willing to wait on average 15 minutes longer. And they saved on average 45 cents a gallon. So they're willing to wait 15 minutes, so 0.25 hours, and they saved $0.45 per gallon when they did wait. And on average, the average gas purchase was 10.5 gallons. 10.5 gallons was the average gas purchase. So people are willing to wait a quarter of an hour to save on average $4.73. Okay, they're willing to they're willing to wait a quarter of an hour to save $4.73. So what's their time worth per hour? What does that say their time's worth per hour? You don't have to give me the exact math answer. How do I figure it out? $19. If they're willing to wait a quarter of an hour to save $4.73, they are saying to me, my time is worth $19 an hour. If my time was worth more than $19 an hour, I wouldn't wait. Okay? More people go to Joe's. If time is worth less than $19 an hour, more people go to Chevron. The fact that this is the new equilibrium means that people's time is worth $19 an hour. Okay? What's really cool about that is that turns out to be exactly the average wage workers earn in America. Okay? That was as a few years ago. Now it's about $22. So basically, people sort of gave the right answer. Okay? So if you look at the wage the typical worker earned, it was about the same as what was revealed by this exercise. Kind of cool. Okay? Now you might say, well, gee, why'd you have to do the exercise then? It's a good point. But we didn't know that was going to work out. The wage might not be the right answer. It just was nice that, if you'd gotten $150 an hour from this and the wage was 19, you'd think something was wrong. Okay? The fact they're in the same ballpark gives you some confidence in this method.